The night was silent, except for the soft rustle of leaves in the cold wind. On a small, broken street in the city, shadows moved quietly. The street was old, narrow, and mostly forgotten. Broken windows stared like empty eyes, and the smell of damp bricks and trash filled the air. On this street, very few dared to walk at night. But tonight, someone unusual was here. He was a millionaire, dressed in a dark suit, his expensive shoes tapping lightly on the cracked pavement. His face was pale, and his eyes looked tired and sad. He had just lost someone very dear to him, and the grief weighed heavily on his shoulders. He had everything money could buy, yet he felt emptier than anyone on this street. And then he saw her, a small black girl, no older than 16, stood under a broken streetlight. Her clothes were torn, her feet bare, and her eyes were sharp and wise, even in the dark. She looked straight at him, not afraid at all. Her voice was soft but firm. "Sir, those girls live on my street," she said. The millionaire froze. He didn't know what to say. Something about her tone made his heart skip. He stepped closer, curious and cautious. "Which girls?" he asked, his voice low. The girl didn't answer immediately. Instead, she looked around nervously, as if someone might be listening. Then she whispered, "The ones you need to see. The ones you should not miss. But, sir, you must follow me. Don't let anyone notice." He hesitated. This street was dangerous, dark and unfamiliar. Yet, something in her eyes made him trust her. Maybe it was the honesty in her voice, or maybe it was the strange feeling that his past was somehow tied to this street. Without another word, he followed her. The girl led him through narrow alleys, past old houses with doors hanging loose on their hinges. He noticed small signs of life clothes drying on lines, the faint laughter of children somewhere in the distance, a cat running across the roof. But there was also a strange tension in the air, something unsaid. "Be quiet," the girl said suddenly, stopping him. "They don't know you. And some people, they don't like strangers. Some people, they might hurt you." He nodded silently. His heart pounded faster. The millionaire had faced danger before, in business and in life, but this was different. This was raw, unpredictable, and real. He realized that money could not protect him here. They reached a small courtyard behind one of the buildings. 3 girls sat there, talking quietly, but when they looked up, their faces were hard, careful, yet sad. They were survivors of something the millionaire could not yet understand. The girl who led him whispered again, "Those are the girls. They live here. They fight to survive every day." The millionaire's mind raced. Why did he feel that he had seen them somewhere before? Why did their eyes seem familiar, as if connected to a memory buried deep inside him? He didn't know yet. "Sir," the girl said, her voice trembling a little, "I know you are sad. I know you lost someone. But these girls, they need help. And maybe you can help them." He looked around the dark street, at the broken houses, at the small group of girls who lived in silence and fear. He felt a strange pull, a sense that his life and theirs were about to change forever. And in that moment, a cold wind blew through the street, whispering secrets only the night could know. The millionaire stepped forward, unsure of what he was getting into. But he could not turn back, because the street, the girls, and the small black girl who led him, they were about to pull him into a story he would never forget. The millionaire followed the small black girl carefully, his expensive shoes crunching on the broken stones. Every step seemed louder than it should be, echoing in the narrow alleys like a warning. The girl walked quickly, yet with purpose, as if she knew every corner of this forgotten street. He noticed that the street seemed alive in a strange way. Small fires flickered behind windows. Shadows moved in unusual ways, and whispers floated in the air. "Be careful here," she said softly. "Some people pretend to be asleep, but they watch. They know everything." He nodded, trying to keep up. His heart beat faster, not just because of the unfamiliar street, but because of the feeling that he was walking into something bigger than he could imagine. They stopped near an old, crumbling building. The door was half open, and inside, the millionaire could see the girls, 3 of them, moving quietly, whispering to each other. One was drawing something on the ground with chalk, another arranging small items that looked like broken toys, and the third kept glancing outside nervously. "What are they doing?" he asked. "They are planning," the girl whispered. "But not for fun. They protect themselves. And sometimes, they protect others." The millionaire watched silently, curiosity burning in his chest. These were just children, yet their faces carried stories that money could never erase. Every movement seemed purposeful, careful, and almost secretive. Then he noticed something strange. One of the girls, the one who had been drawing with chalk, looked up at him for a brief moment. Their eyes met, and for a second, he felt a flash of recognition, like a memory trying to wake from a long sleep. His chest tightened. Who was she? Why did her eyes feel familiar? "Sir, look there," the small black girl whispered urgently. "Do not speak. Do not move too fast. Watch carefully." The millionaire obeyed, trying to stay hidden behind the broken wall. He saw the girls exchange folded papers, pass small coins, and sometimes even food. It wasn't just survival, it was a strange kind of teamwork, a system he couldn't understand yet. There was a hidden world inside this street, a world of rules, signals, and secret messages that kept them alive. Suddenly, the street echoed with a faint noise, a man shouting somewhere far away. The girls froze. The one who had been drawing with chalk stuffed the paper into her pocket, and the others quickly moved to hide something behind the wall. "Who is that?" he whispered. They do not trust outsiders," the girl said. "Even someone like me must be careful. Some people will hurt them if they know we are here." The millionaire's mind raced. These girls were not ordinary street kids. Something more was happening. They were smart, organized, and aware. And yet, there was something fragile about them, like glass that could break at any moment. Then, the small black girl pulled him closer to a side alley. "Sir, you must understand one thing," she said, looking him straight in the eyes. "These girls, they are not only fighting for survival. They are hiding from something. Something dangerous. And it has something to do with you." He froze. Him? How could they be connected to him? He had never seen them before, or had he? A strange chill ran down his spine as he realized that the street, the girls, and the small black girl were slowly pulling him into a puzzle he didn't know how to solve. He swallowed hard. He wanted answers, but he also wanted to stay safe. But one thing was clear, he couldn't turn back now. Not when curiosity and fear were mixed together in such a strong, powerful way. And as they disappeared deeper into the alleys, the millionaire felt it, a feeling that tonight, the street would reveal secrets that could change everything he thought he knew about the world. And about himself. The millionaire followed the small black girl deeper into the alleys. The street grew darker, the buildings taller and closer together, as if they were walls of a hidden world. The air smelled damp and cold, but also faintly sweet, from something burning somewhere far away. His mind was restless. He could feel that something in this street, something about the girls, was tied to his own past, but he could not yet place it. The girl led him to a small hidden courtyard. The 3 street girls were there again, but now they were sitting around a small fire. The flames flickered across their faces, highlighting both their youth and their weariness. The millionaire noticed the way they spoke in short, careful sentences, their eyes always scanning the street. They were cautious but not afraid. Something about them commanded respect, even in their small, fragile forms. "Sir," the small black girl said, "these girls, they have been through things you cannot imagine. They survive because they must. And sometimes, survival means making choices that hurt, but also protect. The millionaire watched silently. He had seen wealth and power destroy lives before, but here was a world untouched by money, ruled by raw survival. And yet, he could not stop thinking about the one girl, the one drawing with chalk. Her eyes, when they met his before, seemed to carry a message, a memory of someone he had loved and lost long ago. Do you know them? The small black girl asked, noticing his pause. He shook his head slowly. I feel like I do, somehow, but I don't understand. The girl nodded, as if she had expected this. Some things cannot be understood immediately. Some things must be felt first. Pay attention, sir. Watch them, listen. Their story. It is more than survival. It is a reflection. A mirror of choices and mistakes. He realized then that he was seeing parts of himself in these girls. Their courage, their careful decisions, their quiet strength. It reminded him of his own lost youth, of mistakes he had made, and of the person he had once been before wealth and tragedy shaped him. He felt a sudden ache, a connection he could not explain. Then, a small movement caught his eye. The chalk girl was drawing again, but this time the shapes were different, almost like symbols, almost like a map. The millionaire leaned closer, curiosity and fear mixing in his chest. The small black girl noticed. They plan carefully, she whispered. Every move, every step. It has meaning. They are hiding from someone dangerous, and yet they are trying to protect something very important. Something that someone like you needs to see. The millionaire's heart skipped a beat. Could these girls really be connected to him? Could they know something he had forgotten? Something that could change everything? He felt a strange pull, stronger than curiosity, like destiny itself had led him here. Suddenly, the chalk girl looked up again. This time she spoke. You're the one who left, and then forgot. But maybe you can make it right. The millionaire froze. His mind spun. Who had he left? What had he forgotten? And how could this small, black homeless girl, this guide through the shadows, know more about his life than he remembered himself? The small black girl grabbed his hand gently. Sir, don't just watch. You must act. But carefully. Their enemies are close. And the secrets they hide. They are dangerous. But they are also the key to healing. If you are brave, you might understand. For the first time since he had walked onto this street, the millionaire felt a strange warmth. Fear mixed with hope. Mystery mixed with recognition. And the girls. These three fragile but fierce girls were no longer strangers. They were mirrors of his past, guides for his future, and perhaps the only chance to fix what he had lost. As the fire flickered, shadows danced across the walls. And in that moment, the millionaire realized, this street, these girls, and the small black guide, they were not just part of a story. They were part of him, waiting to reveal the truth he had hidden from himself for so long. The night had grown colder, and the shadows on the street seemed darker than ever. The millionaire followed the small black girl carefully as she led him through twisting alleys. The walls around them were cracked, covered in faded graffiti, and the air smelled of wet cement and smoke. Every step he took felt dangerous, as if the street itself were watching him. They are not safe here, the girl whispered urgently. Some people, they come for them. They watch. They wait. The millionaire's heart tightened. He had faced danger in his life before, business threats, betrayals, accidents. But this was different. Here, danger was unpredictable, silent, and personal. And it was getting closer. They reached a narrow alley where the three girls had gathered. The chalk girl was sketching symbols on the ground again, but now her movements were hurried, almost panicked. The other two were whispering, glancing toward the street entrance as if expecting someone. Who is coming? The millionaire asked quietly. The small black girl hesitated. A man dangerous. He wants them gone. But not for money. For something. Personal. Something they know. The millionaire froze. He realized that this street, these girls, and the secrets they carried were tied to something far bigger than survival. The tension in the air was thick, almost tangible. Suddenly, a shadow moved near the alley entrance. A tall figure stepped into the dim light, a man dressed in dark clothes, face hidden by a hood. He paused, scanning the area. The girls froze, their bodies stiff with fear. The chalk girl quickly folded her paper and hid it. "Stay calm," the small black girl whispered to the millionaire. "Do not move. Do not speak." The man stepped closer, his presence heavy and threatening. He looked like someone who had been hunting for weeks, someone who knew exactly where to strike. His eyes flicked across the girls, and he smirked as if he had already won. The millionaire's mind raced. He wanted to step forward, to confront this threat, but he remembered the girl's warning. Every move here was dangerous. One wrong step, and everything could be lost. The small black girl led him behind a stack of crates, keeping him low and hidden. "They don't trust anyone," she whispered. "Even you must be careful. One wrong move, and he will know." The girls huddled together, their fear mixed with courage. They were small, young, fragile, and yet, there was a spark of defiance in their eyes. They were not completely helpless. The chalk girl quickly scribbled a new symbol on the ground, almost like a signal. The millionaire watched, his curiosity growing, but so was the fear. Then, the hooded man took a step forward, and a loud noise echoed from the street. Someone shouting, a bottle breaking. The girls flinched. The man's head snapped toward the sound. He moved closer to the alley, his steps deliberate, dangerous. The small black girl grabbed the millionaire's hand. "Sir, if he sees you, it could be the end. You need to hide. And we need to act fast." The millionaire nodded. He could feel his pulse racing, his body tense with adrenaline. This was more than danger, it was a test. And he realized something terrifying. He could no longer just observe. If he wanted to protect these girls and maybe uncover the secrets tied to his past, he had to act. The alley seemed to shrink around them. Every shadow was a threat. Every sound was amplified. And somewhere in the darkness, the hooded man was moving closer, unaware that his prey was watching, planning, waiting. The millionaire swallowed hard. His mind flashed back to his lost loved one, the grief still raw inside him. He felt anger, fear, and a strange determination. These girls, the small black guide, and the dark street, they were not just stories now. They were real danger, real lives, real choices. And as the man stepped closer, the millionaire knew that tonight, the hidden truths of the street would collide with the shadows of his past, and that someone would have to fight. Or someone would be lost forever. The hooded man paused at the edge of the alley, his dark eyes scanning every shadow. The millionaire held his breath, gripping the small black girl's hand tightly. The girls huddled together, their faces pale but determined. In that tense silence, every sound, the distant barking of a dog, the wind brushing through broken windows felt amplified. Suddenly, a sharp voice cut through the night. "Stop, I know you are here." The hooded man's eyes widened. He turned sharply, his movements quick and precise. The girls froze, and the millionaire instinctively stepped forward, but the small black girl held him back. "Wait," she hissed. "Not yet. Watch carefully." The hooded man's gaze landed on someone unexpected, a tall figure emerging from the shadows behind them. It was a woman, someone the millionaire recognized from the past, someone he thought he had trusted completely. His heart stopped. "Why are you helping them?" the woman demanded. Her voice was cold, sharp, full of accusation. "Do you have any idea what they've done?" The millionaire's mind raced. How could this be? This woman, once a friend, once a partner, was now working against the girls. Against him, against everything he thought he knew. His chest tightened as betrayal sank deep. "She doesn't understand," the small black girl whispered urgently. "She thinks she's protecting something. But she's wrong. Very wrong." The hooded man took advantage of the distraction and stepped closer to the girls. One of them, the chalk girl, stumbled slightly, and the millionaire caught her arm. A surge of anger and fear hit him at once. He realized that this wasn't just danger. This was betrayal from the past, colliding with the fragile present. "Why?" the millionaire finally asked, his voice trembling. "Why are you doing this?" The woman's eyes softened for a brief moment, almost human, almost remorseful. "You don't remember, do you?" she said quietly. "You left. You left when it mattered most. And now, these girls, these street kids, they are tied to your choices. And I am here to make sure you face them." The millionaire's mind spun. Memories he had buried deep inside rushed back, moments of mistakes, lost chances, promises broken. He realized that the girls weren't just random street survivors. They were connected to him, to his past, in ways he hadn't imagined. One of them, the chalk girl, was part of that lost history. The small black girl pulled him back, whispering, "Sir, do not speak. They want a reaction. Wait for the right moment." The tension was unbearable. The hooded man, the betraying woman, the frightened but defiant girls, everything seemed to converge in this dark alley. And then, the chalk girl stepped forward, her small voice cutting through the night. "You were supposed to protect us," she shouted. "And now, you're here. You can fix it, or lose us forever." The millionaire froze. Her words hit him harder than any danger. The betrayal wasn't just from the woman or the past, it was from the consequences of his own choices. Every regret, every lost moment, every mistake he had made was mirrored in these girls. The woman hissed, stepping forward, her expression dark. "If you move, if you interfere, there will be no second chances." The alley was a battlefield of emotion, fear, and danger. The millionaire felt the weight of responsibility crushing him. He understood now that protecting these girls was not just about courage. It was about redeeming the past, facing betrayal, and making choices that mattered more than wealth or safety. And as the hooded man moved closer, as the shadows seemed to stretch and close in, the millionaire realized the truth that would haunt him forever. Some betrayals leave scars deeper than fear. And some revelations are so shocking, they can change everything you thought you knew about your life. The alley was a battlefield of shadows and whispers. The millionaire's heart pounded like a drum in his chest. The hooded man's steps were deliberate and threatening, while the woman, once a trusted friend, watched him with eyes full of accusation. The three girls huddled close, their faces pale but fierce, each one ready to fight for survival. "Sir." "Now," the small black girl whispered, gripping his hand tightly. "You must act. But carefully. One wrong move. Everything ends." The millionaire took a deep breath. Fear and anger mingled inside him, but beneath it, a spark of determination burned. This was not just about protecting the girls anymore, it was about righting the mistakes of his past. The hooded man lunged suddenly, his movements fast and sharp. The millionaire reacted instinctively, stepping forward to block him, using sheer strength and willpower. The girls scattered to the sides, ducking behind crates and trash bins. But the chalk girl stayed still, her eyes wide. Watching every move, the woman stepped forward, trying to grab one of the younger girls. "You cannot protect them," she shouted, her voice echoing off the narrow walls. "You abandoned everything that mattered." The millionaire froze for a heartbeat, the words cutting deep. But then he shook his head and stood taller. "I will not abandon them again," he said firmly. "Not now. Not ever." The hooded man swung again, and this time, the millionaire caught him off guard, pushing him back with a surge of strength. The girls used the moment to act. The chalk girl picked up a piece of broken wood and swung it at a metal pipe, creating a loud crash that echoed through the street. The distraction was enough. The millionaire grabbed the small black girl and moved the other two to safety behind a wall. "You can do this," she whispered urgently. "Believe in yourself." For the first time, the millionaire realized that money, power, and past regrets meant nothing here. Only courage, quick thinking, and trust mattered. He remembered the grief he had carried for so long, the love he had lost, and the people he had left behind. That pain became strength. The hooded man lunged again, but this time, the millionaire dodged, grabbed a nearby metal rod, and blocked him. The clash of metal against metal rang out, sharp and loud. The alley seemed alive with tension, every shadow moving, every breath amplified. The woman stepped forward again, this time hesitating. The millionaire looked her in the eyes. "You don't have to do this," he said. "It's not too late to change. Protect them, not destroy." For a moment, she froze, conflicted. The hooded man, sensing hesitation, attacked once more. But the millionaire, with the girl's help, managed to push him back, cornering him against the wall. The danger was not over, but the balance had shifted. The small black girl grabbed the chalk girl's hand. "It's over. For now, we survived. But remember, the street is never quiet for long." The millionaire looked at the girls, at their fierce, defiant faces, and something inside him softened. He realized that these girls were not just survivors, they were teachers. They had shown him courage, humility, and hope in the darkest of places. As the hooded man stumbled away, disappearing into the shadows, and the woman lowered her head in silent defeat, the millionaire felt a strange calm. The street was quiet again, but not peaceful. The night had revealed truths, danger, and courage all at once, and in the flickering light of the small fire, the millionaire understood something profound. Life could be cruel, dangerous, and full of betrayal, but redemption, courage, and love could shine even in the darkest alleys. He glanced at the small black girl. "Thank you for showing me the way," he said quietly. She smiled faintly, her eyes reflecting both sadness and hope. "Sir, the way is never simple, but sometimes it's enough to survive and learn." The alley grew silent, except for the faint crackle of fire and the distant hum of the city. The millionaire knew this night would change him forever, and the girls, they were not just a story. They were the reason he could face the darkness and maybe finally find peace. The alley was quiet now. The hooded man had disappeared into the darkness, and the woman, once a friend, now a shadow of betrayal, stood still, her eyes heavy with regret. The small fire flickered weakly, casting long shadows over the three girls, the small black girl, and the millionaire. For the first time that night, it felt like the danger had passed, if only temporarily. The millionaire looked at the girls, at their tired but brave faces, and felt a strange mix of awe and humility. These children had faced fear, betrayal, and hardship far beyond their years, and yet they had survived. He realized that his wealth, his influence, and his past regrets were meaningless if he did not act to help them. "Are you okay?" he asked softly, his voice breaking the silence. The chalk girl nodded, her eyes bright with determination despite exhaustion. "We're alive. For now. But the street, it never stays quiet. There are always dangers." The small black girl stepped forward and looked at him with intensity. "Sir, you helped tonight. But the girls, they need more than protection. They need hope. And maybe you can give it to them." The millionaire felt a lump in his throat. He had come here with grief, with loss, with guilt heavy on his heart. And now, standing in this hidden corner of the city, he realized that redemption was not about fixing the past. It was about creating a future. He knelt beside the girls, meeting their eyes. "I don't know if I can fix everything," he admitted. "But I promise, I will try. I will help you, protect you, and make sure no one hurts you again. You don't have to face the street alone anymore." The girls exchanged glances. Slowly, hope began to shine in their eyes, fragile but real. For the first time in a long while, they felt that someone could be trusted, not just with their safety, but with their dreams, their future. The millionaire turned to the small black girl, who had been his guide, his anchor through the night's chaos. "And you?" he asked. "What about you?" She smiled faintly, a mixture of pride and sadness. "I've done what I could. The rest is up to them and up to you. Remember, sir, the street is never quiet. But sometimes, even in darkness, you find light." A gentle breeze blew through the alley, carrying the faint sounds of the city-distant laughter. A dog barking, a car engine humming far away. The millionaire felt the weight of the night lift slightly from his shoulders. He realized that the girl's courage had given him courage. Their struggle had reminded him of what truly mattered: care, trust, and action. He looked at the small group, at the fire flickering between them, and made a decision. He would not just protect them. He would provide opportunities, guidance, and a chance for the girls to live beyond the limits of the street. The chalk girl, the other two, and the small black guide, they were not just survivors. They were beacons of hope, lessons in courage, and reminders that even in the darkest alleys, light could shine. The woman who had betrayed them earlier turned slowly, her head bowed. She did not speak, but her silence said more than words. The millionaire understood. Some battles were not about revenge, they were about understanding, forgiveness, and moving forward. As dawn slowly approached, the first rays of sunlight pierced the narrow street, touching the broken walls, the cracked pavement, and the small fire that still flickered. The millionaire stood tall, looking at the girls and the small black guide. For the first time in many years, he felt a sense of peace, a sense of purpose, and a belief that even in a world full of danger, redemption was possible. The girls smiled faintly, and the small black girl whispered one last time, "Sir, thank you for everything. Remember, courage and hope, they are stronger than fear." And in that quiet moment, the millionaire knew the truth. Their stories were intertwined now, not just by the night's events, but by trust, bravery, and the promise of a brighter future. The street remained dangerous, the past remained heavy, but together, they could survive, they could fight, and they could live.